Judy Hopps is a little bunny girl with big dreams. Ever since she was in school, seeing her friend being bullied, she dreamed of becoming a police officer to make the world a better place. However, because she is both a weak rabbit and a girl, the way to conquer that dream is not easy. Once, to prove her ability, Judy bet her whole career on a case. From here, she must seek the help of sly fox Nick Wilde to carry out the task. On the surface, Zootopia will be like most other animated movies with the topic of conquering dreams. With enough energy and determination, the weak will become a hero. However, if it were as simple as that, Zootopia would certainly not be able to earn billions, win most of important awards, and become one of Disney's most powerful argumentative works. Through the story of the weak characters living in a seemingly perfect society, the film is a reflection and a sense about our world. What's so realistic about Zootopia? What powerful message did Judy and Nick's development deliver? Let's explore it today. Hi, I'm Nguyễn Ngọc Linh Chi. I'm from Lê Lợi Secondary School. Let's get started. From the very first minute, we saw Zootopia appear under the pink premise of Judy Hopps with the slogan, "Anyone can be anything." Zootopia is the promised land and belief in peace. This city shows its beauty and equality in two aspects, facilities and mindset. First of all, in terms of facilities, right from the express train to the city, the entrance has been divided into cells for animals of different size, which is home to the whole animal world. Therefore, Zootopia is also divided into 4 subzones with special nature conditions. Just one long wide-angle shot is enough to show the infrastructural and conditions of modern Zootopia, meeting the needs of all animals, making them grow in the most comfortable environment. Besides, the beauty and the humanity of Zootopia are also reflected in the fact that all species from rhinos, giraffes to mice live in harmony. And this city is also taking radical steps to empower vulnerable animals. Surely new regulations and directives will be introduced, and then we have the first rabbit policewoman, or the mayor's assistant is a sheep. What better world to live in than that? Zootopia is considered by many to be inspired by New York City. But to me, this could represent every modern city in every corner of the world. We have always been proud of the flat world, globalization, our friends from 5 continents, 4 pools, 1 house. However, from the perspective of filmmakers, the multicultural world is not so simple. We have to be insiders to know how things are. And when Judy realized it's not as great as she imagined. Facilities can be updated quickly to answer the height and the weight of many different species, but the most difficult thing to change is the nature of each individual. And Zootopia's society, despite how splendid and egalitarian it may be on the outside, is still full of stereotypes and divisions on the inside. To become a police officer, everyone must think that the first criterion is to be tall and possess outstanding physical strength. A Zootopia too. This responsibility is often assigned to elephants, rhinos, and tigers. But somewhere, there was a little bunny girl who still had her dream of becoming a police officer. That girl is Judy Hopps. Ever since she was a teenager at school, Judy has understood how disadvantaged little animals like herself are from many times witnessing her friends being ridiculed and bullied. But her dream of becoming a police officer is always smoldering and burning. Judy wants to protect the sheep and the rabbits herself and reclaim justice for vulnerable animals, embracing a big dream. However, Judy is hindered by her family, school, and colleagues. From her early days, her parents dissuaded her from dreaming too much. They advised her to live comfortably, take care of the farm. Is it easier for a bunny? This is a story that does not to anyone. And I believe that Judy's parents, like many others, mothers and fathers in this world, did not intentionally disappoint their children. Everything they did was forced, from invisible prejudices, from anxiety and protection for children. When Judy grew up and left home to work as a police officer in Zootopia, her parents silently prayed that she would be given the safest and least important job. That's why the same thing that Judy wrote penalty tickets for her shame, for her parents, it was a happiness and a peace of mind. Parents love Judy very much. that indisputable, but they have never really understood and seriously looked at her efforts and dream. They still can't believe their daughter wants to and is becoming a real policeman. At the academy, Judy continues to be prevented and discriminated against as the only bunny in the ranks. Because of her small size, her physical strength is far below that of her classmates, so her performance is not so good. And this also became an excuse for teachers to often mock or even directly advise her to drop out. Fortunately, this was a determination and agility with which Judy found a new approach and completed the exercises brilliantly. Her intelligence and alertness made her the valedictorian as well as the first rabbit to graduate from the police school. Holding a bright diploma in her hand, thinking that the young girl had erased the prejudices from people, it turned out that this was the beginning of a difficult journey. In that, Chief Bogo showed his disdain and gave Judy the least important job as scoring tickets, despite trying to explain, trying to do the best job assigned, but Judy still could not change the opinion of the difficult spots. He repeatedly put Judy in a difficult position, giving her only 48 hours to solve the case, while her colleagues had spent 2 weeks without finishing. Chief Bogo pressured not to make Judy succeed, but on the contrary, to remove her from the ranks of the police. Witnessing Judy's journeys to adulthood, we understand that these acts of discrimination are not fair at all. The young girl has a burning determination, enthusiasm for work, and achievements that are second to none. She has a very smart, agile approach to the problem, has a different way to becoming a police. But in life, sometimes people just use the first impression to judge the other person. They refuse to look at the effort that the other is accumulating day by day. In addition to stereotypes about small species, Zootopia also clearly discriminates against animals with a bad reputation. From fables to people opinions, foxes have always been portrayed as cunning, troublesome, harming other animals, or even betraying their friends. It is because prejudice is deeply rooted in society's subconscious that the fox Nick has suffered a lot discrimination and injustice. We caught it when Nick was refused service by the owner of the ice cream shop himself, or when he was the only witness to the case but no one believed it. According to the film flows, the past story is also told when Nick was bullied by his friend because he is a fox. The saddest is that Judy herself discriminates against Nick without realizing it. From the beginning, she has always been worried of him, carrying fox prey to defend herself. Despite of being in the same boat, going through many hardships together, Judy was still quietly suspicious. Is Zootopia a mirror of Judy's soul? On the outside, it promotes fairness and diversity, but the inside is still full of stereotypes and divisions. And Judy is also prejudiced that even victims of prejudice can continue, knowingly or unknowingly, to hurt others. In the US, Nick's story could be a cautionary tale about racism, too. But to me, they can represent any community in society, anywhere in the world. It can be the LGBT, the poor, a minority, or simply the person was born in a certain countryside. By putting the audience in the shoes of Nick and Judy are the victims of discrimination, of prejudice. Audience have more understanding of what they are going through. From here, we understand how these actions have a great impact on the person's life. Witnessing the difficulties of Nick and Judy, we understand that the effects of prejudice are extremely serious. It takes away many dreams. It creates invisible distances that put people away from the community, isolate themselves. It also, used by the bad guys, causes fear and social division. While it is clear that it is impossible to look at the face but capture the image. A jogger can be extremely funny and friendly, enjoy eating donut and drinking soda. Mafia boss with the name Mr. Big is actually a tiny mouse, or is Flash the sloth who can't finish a job all day and is a super racer who rocked the city. In the end, surprisingly, innocent sheep are actually evil enemies, deeply plotting to manipulate the whole city. The cognitive turning point only appeared when Judy realized that she could go crazy under the effect of the night howler's tree, and is being used to instill fear of the people. This means Judy Virgin is no different from those predators. Only when we understand that we too can be misunderstood as victims of discrimination and we realize its injustice and yeah. Judy also suddenly gained strength and faith when she accidentally met Gideon, who bullied her since childhood but now becomes a super friendly and likable shelf. At this point, Judy's parents admitted that it was she who opened her minds, making them believe in other species. Setting aside stereotypes, Judy saw how an individual can grow, become good, and be happy. At this point, the relationship between Judy and Nick has become the last bridge that she needs to be crossed. Their friendship springs from reluctance maintained on guard but blossomed with empathy and trust. Judy and Nick are actually very similar in that they were both dreamers who wanted to build a better world. Then they were knocked down by the stereotyped ideas of people when society threw them into countless challenges. But Judy is different from Nick in that she has never given up on her dreams, as well as good nature inside her. From here, Judy became an inspiring example for Nick to change. On the contrary, Nick the Fox also helped Judy learn to live together, fully accepting of animals that are different from her. Zootopia is a special Disney animated film with many cultural, social, and political meanings of the era. It's light, funny enough for young audience, but also serious, deep enough for parents. The film is attractive thanks to dramatic process of solving the case, but leaves a lot of aftertaste thanks to metaphors and humanistic messages. Although the prejudice is very deep in our subconscious, but thanks to the being of side of Judy, Nick, and also the victims of discrimination, we realize how unfair it is. As Judy says at the end of the film, let's give each other a chance to see individuals as they are, through what they strive, not a name, background or appearance. Knowing is hard, but change will come from within. Always try to make the world a better place. And that's what I want to share with everyone today. I don't know how you guys feel about Zootopia. Do you agree with what I have shared? Many thanks for listening to me. Hopefully, we will work together little by little to make this world more beautiful.